When I tell you that I've never seen a cafeteria go silent so fast in my life, I mean it. 1 second there was laughter, trays clattering, kids shouting across tables, and then the next to it was like time froze. Because everyone had just watched the new girl, Mia, get thrown across a lunch table by the group of girls who thought they ran the entire school. And what happened next made every single person in that cafeteria run for their lives. Before I tell you what I did, I want to ask you, if you saw something like that, would you step in? Or would you pretend you didn't see it, just to keep yourself safe? Because in that moment, I had to make a choice, and what I chose changed everything for all of us. I should start from the beginning. My name's Jake, and at the time, I was a junior in high school. You know how every school has its hierarchy: the popular kids, the athletes, the quiet ones, the weird ones, and everyone else just floating somewhere in between? I was somewhere in the middle. I wasn't invisible, but I wasn't exactly the type of guy anyone looked to for heroics either. I mostly kept my head down, played guitar, and counted the days till graduation. Then, at the start of that semester, we got a new student, Mia. She was quiet, shy, and looked like she'd rather disappear than be noticed. She had these oversized glasses and always wore a hoodie, even when it was hot. But what stood out most was how nervous she seemed. I remember the first day she walked into the cafeteria, tray trembling in her hands, and how everyone's eyes followed her. She sat alone, and I could already feel it. The bullies had found their next target. Now, the bullies in our school weren't your typical jocks. They were a group of girls who Ava, Brooke, and Tessa who thought they were untouchable. They controlled the social media gossip pages, spread rumors like wildfire, and somehow, everyone was either afraid of them or desperate to be on their good side. And for some reason, Mia drew their attention. Maybe it was because she didn't fight back. Maybe it was because she seemed too easy to break. At first, it started small snide comments when she walked by, a fake compliment on her clothes followed by laughter, little things. But it escalated fast. One morning, I saw Brooke accidentally bump into Mia, spilling her drink all over her hoodie. They laughed while Mia stood there, trying not to cry. That was the first time I almost said something. But I didn't. I told myself it wasn't my problem. I regret that more than anything. A few days later, things went too far. It was a Friday afternoon. Everyone was in the cafeteria, loud as usual. I was sitting with my friends when I saw Ava and her crew cornering Mia by the lunch line. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could see the smirk on Ava's face. And then, before I could even process it, Ava grabbed Mia's tray and dumped it onto the floor. Everyone laughed. But when Mia bent down to clean it up, Brooke shoved her shoulder harder, so hard that she fell forward, right onto the next lunch table. Food went flying. Drinks spilled. The noise stopped instantly. You could have heard a pin drop. Mia just stayed there for a second, frozen, her hair covered in sauce, her glasses broken. And then, slowly, she stood up. But what really stunned me was her expression. She wasn't crying. She wasn't angry. She was calmer, too calm. She looked right at Ava, and said, in the quietest voice, "You shouldn't have done that." Something about the way she said it made the hair on my neck stand up. It didn't sound like a threat. It sounded like a promise. And then the lights flickered. Once. Twice. The whole cafeteria gasped. At first, everyone laughed it off, thinking it was just a power surge. But then the lights went completely out for maybe 2 seconds, and when they came back on, the air felt heavy, almost electric. Mia was standing perfectly still, and Ava's smirk was gone. She looked nervous. Something in her eyes shifted, like she felt it too, that cold, crawling feeling that something wasn't right. I swear I saw it. The soda cans on the table near Ava began to shake. Just slightly, but enough for people to notice. "Okay, what the hell is happening?" someone whispered. Ava turned to Mia, stammering, "What did you do?" But Mia just stared at her, expression blank, eyes dark and glassy. The next second, every phone and speaker in the cafeteria screeched with static. People screamed and dropped their food. And that's when everyone ran. Before I tell you what happened after that moment, I want you to think about these. If you saw something completely unexplainable happening, something that defied logic, would you stand your ground or would you run like everyone else? Be honest. Because I didn't run. I stayed. I couldn't move, not because I was brave, but because I was paralyzed with fear and curiosity. When the chaos settled, the principal rushed in, shouting for everyone to calm down. But Mia was gone. Just a broken bar gone. No one saw her leave. The bullies were hysterical, claiming she did something to them. Ava kept saying she felt like her skin was burning. Brooke fainted. And Tessa just kept repeating, "She looked at me." The teachers tried to dismiss it as panic or mass hysteria, but no one could explain the tech glitch, the lights, or the sudden static from every device. Mia didn't come back to school the next day. Or the day after. Rumors spread fast. Some said she was expelled. Others claimed she transferred again. But the most popular rumor was that she wasn't just an ordinary girl. Some said her dad used to work for a military research lab and that she'd been part of some experiment. Others said she practiced witchcraft. Whatever the truth was, Ava and her friends never recovered from that day. Ava stopped showing up for school altogether. Brooke transferred. And Tessa? She wouldn't even talk. She'd just stare into space, muttering to herself. A week later, I found something strange. Under the table where Mia had been sitting that day, there was her notebook. It was small, black, and completely blank except for one page. On it, written in neat handwriting, were the words, "They only see what they deserve." I don't know what that meant. But I've never forgotten it. Sometimes I wonder if I imagined everything that happened. But then I'll hear someone mention Mia's name in the halls, and lights will flicker for just a second. Maybe it's coincidence. Maybe not. Looking back, I think about that moment, how I did nothing when I saw her being bullied. Maybe she wasn't looking for revenge. Maybe she just wanted people to see her, even if it meant terrifying them into paying attention. I'll never know. So, what do you think? Was Mia justified in what she did, whatever that was? Or did things go too far? Like this video if you were on her side. Subscribe for more stories like this, and tell me in the comments what you think really happened that day. I'll see you all in the next story.